Hey guys, welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today, I think we have our very first Marantz turntable. This is a model 6025. It's a belt drive semi-automatic. The customer has dropped it off stating that it is skipping, and that's all the information they gave me. So I have not even touched it. I've just thrown a record on it, and I thought we could see what it's doing together first. And I haven't even touched the anti-skating or the tracking force, anything. So I thought let's see what's going on with it. It has a Shure M95 ED, which is a very high quality cartridge. It has the original Shure stylus on it, so maybe the stylus is pooched. Not sure. Let's give it a go and see what's going on with it. That sounds delicious. The arm mechanism just a little bit high on this. It's about that much off the record, so whoa, that's way too high for cueing. Well, as you can see, the cueing was stuck. Let's not do that again. Okay, so obviously this cueing needs to be adjusted. It's dropping like a stone. I just want it to play though. This is way too heavy. I can feel already. The M95 ED is a very light tracking cartridge. It tracks at 1.25 grams. Let's just see how heavy it's tracking at right now with the digital scale. He's also got way too many platter mats on this. He's got the original Marantz platter mat, and he's got this anti-skating. Don't do that. You're just going to throw off the vertical tracking alignment. Like, you want your cartridge to sit nice and straight on the record, right? And if you have too many mats, it's going to sit ass down, and you don't want that. So let's just take this off for now. We unplugged it so it doesn't spin around. Let's see how many grams he's tracking this cartridge at currently. Oh, it's right off the scale. Okay, so let's balance this and see. I'm stuck. Let's get it to 1.25 grams. I can't believe how much weight was on this. Oh, we're getting close. Okay, 1.3. Let's just leave it there for now, just for testing purposes. That won't kill anything. Let's put the record back on just the Marantz platter mat. See how much more distance there is now, and let's try that again. Obviously, we're gonna have to do something with this cueing. It's not awful, but I think because there was so much weight on that arm, it's still way too high. Okay, that's better. You can't even close the cover on it. Let's see what happens. That's just ridiculous. Oh yeah. I know what's going on. This is set too high. The needle does not touch the record. Love it. Okay, so this is going to be like a 5-minute video. So basically all you do is push down on this, screw it in, and watch this. It's a miracle. Miracle. Still way too high. Let's see if we can do it while it's Oh yeah, you can do it while it's in there. So usually most manufacturers recommend a distance of about 5 millimeters, something like that. Let's see if it slides over. Probably go a little higher. It's rubbing on this. Let's go just a little bit higher, so when it auto returns, it doesn't hit that. There, done. How'd you like that one? What do you charge somebody for that? Should we service it? He hasn't given me, any instructions to service it. He just said fix the skipping, so that was done with the turn of a screwdriver. Would you like to have a look at the turntable? Why don't we have a peek at it? I'm not going to service it because I haven't been instructed to. But since we've never had a Marantz in here before, let's get a look at it. Why not, right? I'm just going to unplug it. And we'll get a peek at it. It's got a pretty heavy duty motor. It's got an AC motor in it. The belt feels very tight. Almost too tight. You can't do anything but speed on these things. That's a really tight belt. Might not be the actual correct belt for this. Just because I'm a super nice guy and I hate to see these things go out without any kind of service, I'm just going to give it a couple drops on the motor here. There. Just do the top bearing. You never know. This feels very dry. It actually feels absolutely horrible. I can't in good conscience let this turntable go out without at least having a look at this bearing. Now, a belt died in it once. You can see chunks of dead belt here. So that's never a good thing. And it's all over the place, actually. It's right down the speed selector as well. Yuck. Well, anyway, let's continue with this bearing here. Have a look. Pretty easy bearing to service. If I remember correctly. There we go. Oh yeah, this one's really easy to service. It's just a matter of taking this off. Pliers. So you just want to remove this. And let's have a look at the condition of the bearing. There is absolutely no lubricant left in it. None. It is completely dried up. And that's just not okay. We're not gonna do a complete full service on it, but we're gonna get some oil in there for the guy. I mean, I just hate to see these old turntables, maltreated or mistreated or unserviced and dying a slow death. I mean, it's just an old grease that was on here. Look at this. It's basically completely dry. So what we'll do is we'll just we'll clean that up. We'll clean up the bearing here. There's a little ball bearing on the end of this. It's actually built in to the spindle, which is nice. Let's give that a cleaning with some alcohol. Just like that. Get all the crap off of it. Did I lie about the ball? I did lie. I'm sorry. The grease was making it look like there was a ball bearing on the end there. I know it's hard to see in the camera, but there's not. There could very well be one in the bottom here. Ah, it's in the bottom. It's in the bottom of the bearing itself in the pit here. Okay, because there's a little indentation here where the bearing rides. So it looked like it was a bearing built into the spindle itself, but it's not. So we'll keep cleaning out the bearing well. Get that nice and clean. Okay, that looks pretty good. Because there was a grease in there, I think what I'll use on this one is I will use some gear oil. This is what we use in Riga turntables. Just because there was a grease in there, we'll go with that. We'll go with a thick oil. Plus, we don't want it to leak out because there's quite a bit of a gap. I'm just going to clean off this clip here. Make sure that's clean. There's quite a gap here where the oil could leak out. There's a couple slots where this clip goes in. So I think what we'll do is we'll make sure that nothing comes out. Gear oil is pretty heavy duty, and it should perform pretty similar to the grease. So what we'll do is put 1, 2, 3, and then 4. That's good. And just a couple drops here. Like that. Pop it in. Oh, that went in nicely. Oh my goodness, what a difference. Ridiculous, you know. Look at that. I know you can't feel it, but night and day. It was so dry, the grease was completely dried out. It's got nice pullback. We got really good lubrication. We'll put our clip back on. Just like that. Center it like that. And drop some grease on the platter. The dust cover. Clean that off with a little alcohol. And I'll just pull this off. Get our bearing back in. It's kind of annoying because that clip kind of gets in the way, but just work it in. Just like that. Alrighty. And then just put our screws in very loosely. Very loosely for now, because this is adjustable. We want to make sure that the gear is riding in the correct spot, because this gear is what actuates the auto return mechanism. Okay, so you don't want it too close, but you want it close enough that when this is activated, it's tripping this lever, right? And it's starting to spin cycle. So right about there is where we want to be. Just tighten that down. Sorry about the phone. And see how the gear is spinning nicely. So when I hit the reject button, you're going to see this click over. It'll start the trip mechanism, and then the gears will engage and start the auto return. And then it's free. That's it, my friends. So we've given a quick little lube job to that motor. Made this a billion times better. Just using some, like I mentioned, some gear oil. This is 80W90 by Shell. It smells horrible. Actually, it makes me sick to my stomach when I smell it, especially when I'm changing out the actual differential fluid or the transfer case fluid on my car. It is just disgusting smelling. Okay, and I think that's it. Like I mentioned, the belt is new, and the pulley's been cleaned, although the belt is very tight. Let's see what kind of speed this sucker's holding here. Okay, let's make sure it's spinning nicely. It is, it's quiet. Let's see what kind of speed we got. Get my strobe disc here. It is slow, very slow. There's nothing you can do about that. An AC motor, there's a trick that I could teach you, and that involves painting the spindle. What turned out to be a 5-minute video is going to turn out to be longer now. So what you want to do is, first of all, you want to clean the spindle with a little bit of alcohol. So just move your arm over, let the motor actuate, and clean the spindle. Pretty dirty, eh? That's old belt residue. Okay, once that's clean and it's dry, steal your wife's nail polish. I just keep this one down here because it's a pretty color of red. All right, just get that speed lever out of the way. What we're going to want to do is don't gloop it on. Okay, you want a very thin coat to start with. Okay, you just want to hold it against the moving motor. Hang on, let me see if I can get the camera in here nice and close for you here. Let's really zoom this sucker in as close as I can anyway. So right there. Okay, it's spinning right now. So you want to get your nail polish and hold it against the motor spindle. Okay, now you want it spinning. Don't do it when it's not spinning, because the spinning creates centripetal force, and it will make the paint go on evenly. Okay, and then that's got to dry. It has to dry a lot too. Okay, you can't put the belt on now because you will goop up the belt, and you won't ruin it, but it's not a good idea. Okay, so just by that little coating of paint, we're going to increase the diameter or the circumference of that motor spindle, and because you're increasing the motor spindle here, okay, you're speeding up the belt. Okay, think of a bicycle, right? The bigger the gear at the back, right, the more you have to pedal. So this is moving faster. Okay, so same thing, same principle. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out again here. And we'll probably just pause here for a second and then come back after the paint's dry. Okay, so I've put the belt and platter back on. We have one coat of paint on there. We're just going to check speed again. And it's a little bit faster already, but definitely not there. So it's just a matter of repeating the process. Okay, so we have one coat right now. We're going to do the same thing. Pull this off. After this is dried, get this paint, move it over, light coating of paint. And that's our second coat. Okay, same thing. Gonna let that dry. All right, so what I'll do is I'm gonna pause again, and I'll keep applying coats until I get the speed roughly where I want it, and then I'll let you know how many coats it took. Alrighty. Okay, so it took 3 coats of paint to get me. That's pretty damn good. I think I'm right on the money. So there we go. Now we have a perfectly spinning 60-25. Now, is painting the spindle, you know, a permanent fix? I would say no. I would first ensure that you have the correct belt. This belt's too tight. It's pulling the motor in as I'm looking at it here. It's too tight. That would be the first thing, and more importantly is also the thickness of the belt itself. Not how wide it is, but actual the thickness of it. That's why we've had to paint this spindle. But anyway, it should last a while. It's paint, right? It's not the perfect solution, but at least, you know, it's spinning at 33 now, and it should sound good. I'm going to leave the cartridge at 1.3. I had to look at the stylus. It's the original Shure stylus. It's definitely seen better days, so I'm going to keep it just a little bit heavier weight on it, but at least we have the arm, you know, somewhere close where it needs to be, right? And the other thing is if he wants to use his anti-skate or anti-static platter mat, this one here, we're just going to make sure that he's just using 1 mat and not 2, because at least now there's some room on the actual platter, and the cartridge was again sitting too high. But let's just plug this in real quick before my amp turns on. Ground. There we go. The rest of the turntable's working really good. You can't complain. And we'll just see our new. I have no idea what this record is. A buddy gave it to me. The band's called Dirty Looks, and it sounds like your classic 80s hair metal band. It's just horrible. It's tracking great. Sounds really good. This is a great cartridge, if you can find one. Shure M95, not ME95, M95 ED. Great cartridge. That's it, guys. This episode is over. So we had a skipping arm. Reason is that the auto return queuing lift arm here was set way too high. The actual arm and cartridge were not sitting on the record. And they were, I guess, where there was a little bit of warp in the record, it was, you know, touching there. But so that's done. Just a matter of screwing this screw down here, getting it to an appropriate height. The weight on the arm was set to higher than my scale can even register. I bet you it was sitting probably 4 grams, something like that. So I've set it to 1.3. I've also set the anti-skating. The main spindle bearing was completely dry. The factory grease obviously had totally dried up. So we re-lubricated that. We used 80W90 gear oil on that, and we did a couple drops on the motor. This Marantz is ready to go back into service. I want to thank you again for tuning in. I've got a few turntables coming in this week. This one was one of the ones. I also have a dual 1019, which needs a longer AC cord and new RCA cables. Not sure if I'm going to film that one or not, if it's interesting or not. And then later this week, a gentleman might be dropping off anywhere from 1 to 3 turntables for general service. So we'll see what he brings. Anyway, thanks again, guys, and you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.